I invite the congregation to please rise for the reading of the gospel. The Holy Gospel according to St. Luke, the 8th chapter. Glory to you, O Lord. They sailed to the region of the Gerasenes, which is across the lake from Galilee. When Jesus stepped ashore, he was met by a demon-possessed man from the town. For a long time, this man had not worn clothes or lived in a house, but he had lived in the tombs. When he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell at his feet, shouting at the top of his voice, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, don't torture me." For Jesus had commanded the impure spirit to come out of the man. Many times it had seized him, and though he was chained hand and foot and kept under guard, he had broken his chains and had been driven by the demon into solitary places. Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" "Legion," he replied, because many demons had gone into him. And they begged Jesus repeatedly not to order them to go into the abyss. A large herd of pigs was feeding there on the hillside. The demons begged Jesus to let them go into the pigs, and he gave them permission. When the demons came out of the man, they went into the pigs, and the herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and was drowned. When those tending the pigs saw what had happened, they ran off and reported this in the town and countryside. And the people went out to see what had happened. When they came to Jesus, they found the man from whom the demons had gone out sitting at Jesus' feet, dressed and in his right mind. And they were afraid. Those who had seen it told the people how the demon-possessed man had been cured. Then all of the people of the region of the Gerasenes asked Jesus to leave them because they were overcome with fear. So he got into the boat and left. The man from whom the demons had gone out begged to go with him, but Jesus sent him away, saying, "Return home and tell how much God has done for you." So the man went away and told all over town how much Jesus had done for him. This is the gospel of our Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. Please be seated. Fear. It is all around us. All you have to do is turn on the television, the radio, or the internet. And you know, not only are there fears out there in this world, but we each individually have fears as well. I Googled phobias, and I thought, well, I'd be able to tell you how many there were, but they only listed the top 100. The number one fear is arachnophobia, the fear of spiders. And there are hundreds and hundreds more. Our gospel lesson is about fear this morning. You know, there is this demon-possessed man in this story, but that isn't what frightens the people. This man has been naked and living in a cemetery. He's been homeless. He hangs out in the tombs. But that is not what causes fear in the people. When Jesus asks his name, he declares Legion because he has so many demons within him. But that is not what frightens the people. When Jesus sends those demons out into the pigs, and the pigs go and they run into the lake and they're drowned, that is not what causes the people to be afraid. You know what scares the people? When they come back and they see that man sitting at the feet of Jesus, clothed and in his right mind, that makes them afraid. Amazing. You know, in this story, they have become accustomed to this. What frightens them is that this man who was evil becomes good. What frightens them is the holy, not the unholy. It's not just a little discomfort that they feel either. There is fear, this weak-kneed fear. You know, Luke goes on and he says, well, you know, we went over to find Jesus, And we sent him away because we were afraid of Jesus Christ. Doesn't it strike you as strange that these people, that they have it all backwards? These people are afraid of things that ought to give them great comfort, and they are very much at ease with the very things that should haunt them with fear. And you know the scariest thing of all? Their story is our story. Because the greatest problem facing our society today is that we have become all too comfortable with the evil that's in this world. In the Old Testament, the prophet Jeremiah talks about the condition of the people. Their lifestyles have degenerated. The cities are just filled with crime. And Jeremiah looks around at them and he says, "Are they ashamed of their loathsome conduct? No, they have no shame at all. They do not even know how to blush." William Bennett wrote a book, and it was called The Death of Outrage. There was a time in our society that we showed outrage at people's misconduct, but no more. We accept the flaws of others so easily. We accept their misconduct without any hesitation. And it's not that we forgive these people, we simply excuse their behavior. In the words of Jeremiah, we have forgotten how to blush. We have no shame. What happens when a group of people have no shame? Hitler's Germany happens, where 6 million Jews and 2 to 3 million others are killed in the gas chambers. What happens when there's no shame? A young man walks into Sandy Hook School and kills 28 people, 20 of them being small, young children. And what happens? A young man walks into a bar in Orlando and needlessly kills 49 people. Can you hear Jesus crying? Can you hear Jesus weeping for his children? What happens when people have no sense of shame? The result is people do drugs, shoplifting, and theft time and time again, and they have no care about the hurt or the damage or the pain that they cause. The haunting aspect of Luke's gospel is the people were so comfortable with the presence of evil. You know, Luke talks about this man that he is frightening, that he's dangerous. After all, people had chained him to the wall, and they took turns going out to watch over him. But nobody's bothered by that. They're so comfortable with evil that what frightens them is the presence of Jesus Christ. There's something missing in our society today, but I think it's something more than just shame. What's missing is the presence of Christ in our community. In Luke, the community can live with a crazy, naked man living in a cemetery, but they throw Christ out. And by doing that, they throw out the only hope their community has for redemption. What is wrong with our community is not so much the presence of drugs or alcohol or violence or crime. What is wrong is the lack of Christian presence in our community to offer hope, to offer healing. We come here and we gather in the safety of this sanctuary where we worship God. But outside in the world, I'm afraid that some of us might not always live the Christian life. Maybe we see our friends getting drunk and we accept it. Maybe we hear racial comments or jokes and we're silent. Maybe we witness greed and we join right in. What's wrong with our society is that something is missing, and that something is us. What's missing in this world is that there aren't enough of us acting like Christians. We've gotten so used to the evil in our culture that we've stopped speaking out about the evil. We're no longer afraid of the demons in our society. For you see, we've made peace with evil. You want to know how to build a better society? Be the Christian presence out in this world. Jesus, in his Sermon on the Mount, and I paraphrase, "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything." And he goes on and he says, "You are the light of the world. Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven." So what did Jesus mean when he said we are the salt of the earth? Well, you know, salt is a seasoning. It adds flavor. It adds flavor to everything that we eat. It also is a preservative. So as Christians, we are the salt of the earth. We are the seasoning that can flavor this world around us. We are the preservative. So much of what's wrong in our society is that we have forgotten how to be the salt of the earth. Jesus goes on and says we're also to be the light of the world. But so many of us have hidden our light. We don't know how to let it shine out. And I know that it can be hard to let your light shine. I know it can be frightening. It can be frightening to be the light, to be the salt, to be a Christian presence out there in the world. For you see, it takes great courage to live a life of a Christian, to stand firm in your faith. St. Paul wrote to the Corinthians, "Be on your guard, stand firm in your faith, be of courage, be strong." And that can be hard to do. But here's the good news I want you to remind you of and for you to take with you today. You are never alone. Jesus Christ is right there with you, helping you be strong, helping you have the courage, standing with you as you live a Christian life at your work, at your school, and within your family. Pray to Jesus. Pray to Jesus for our nation. Pray to Jesus to give you the strength. Take a stand. It can be hard, but as Paul said in his letter, you have to have courage. You have to be strong. The most important way we can make a difference in our society is to live our faith day to day, right out in the midst of our world. Martin Luther said, "One should be Christ to one another." You are to be little Christ for everyone you meet, so that when they see you, they see the face of God. And if you think that by your living the Christian life will have no effect, well, I want you to think again. One single life can make a difference. Rosa Parks is a hero of the civil rights movement. Now, Rosa never wrote a book, she never wrote a speech, she never gathered 1 million people. But she is remembered for riding on a bus in a community that was segregated. Segregation was a way of life. I grew up in the South. I saw it every single day. It was an evil that everybody lived with and was accepted. It was an evil that everyone seemed to be comfortable with. Like the naked, demon-possessed man, no one was frightened by it. But Rosa, she got on a bus one day and said, "No more, not today." And she took a seat where she was not supposed to sit. One voice, one action, added with so many other single voices, made a change. Your voice matters. In some way, great or small. Let us agree to change. Let's be the change that this world needs. Let's stop doing whatever we may be doing that's hurtful and do those things that are healing. And let's do it right now. Be the salt. Be the light. A Christian voice to take a stand against the fear and evil that is among us. Come, be the light. Come, make a stand. Come. Amen.